Okay, this is my video about this very weird virtual reality experience. I think that's what it's called anyway, in 3D. They don't do this very often in 3D. They maybe done it before and I just don't remember, like when I was younger or something. But normally they do them when I'm in bed. But this was totally in 3D when I was standing in my backyard in the summertime at about 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. It was still sunny outside, and it was back behind my yard, back behind the fence, the part that I don't own. I don't know who owns it, but it's all empty. Back there, there's bushes and woods and stuff behind my house, but then the next house over, it's all empty land, and there's a couple trees. And see that tree right there? That's where one of the tall apparition appeared. So it happened back behind, in my backyard, basically back behind my fence. And after it happened, I was kind of thinking, well, shit, man, was that like not alien activity, but Indian activity? Because, like every street is named after an Indian in my town. And, there were a lot of Indians in my town. So I was thinking, well, shit, is that like Indian spirits or something? But, I already knew I was, the aliens were around me at that time. I already knew I had been physically abducted. I already knew they were in my life at that time. So then I thought, hell no. That was the aliens that gave me that experience. But it was so weird. I know one thing that could sort of verify it is if, like if my friend Angie or my mom was in the yard with me, I could be like, don't you see those red apparitions? Those glowing apparitions? And then, of course, if they say like, no, I don't see them, if only I could see them, then that would prove that it was a virtual reality experience. Meaning, I kind of think they can manipulate, my brain to make me see things. Like, I don't necessarily think those apparitions were on the outside of my brain, the outside. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they were just inside my brain, like the aliens, tampered with my brain for me to see them. But I have no idea because I was by myself, and I know, nobody else was back there. I know nobody else saw them. I mean, I doubt it very seriously. But I know that is a common thing for the aliens to show reddish, orangey globes or lights or whatever. That's not the first encounter I had with an orangey red globe, which I didn't know the aliens were in my life at that time. That was in 2006 in Austin, Texas, on a very, very clear night, not one cloud in the sky. And a red orangey ball just went up and down and made a half moon shape, which basically that was a freaking UFO, but I didn't know it at the time. I asked this dude behind me, and at work, I was like, what is that? What was that? And he's like, oh, that's called ball lightning. So then I looked up the term ball lightning, and it's totally alien shit. Totally paranormal. And he also told me that he saw, I don't think he said it was orangey or reddish, but he said that he saw lights, bouncing all down the fence one time when he was, I can't remember what age he was. But yeah, so, but anyway, yeah, that big old ball in the sky, it was reddish, orangey. It looked like a basketball, except, from a distance, of course, it would have been a lot bigger, but from a distance, it just kind of looked like a basketball. But yeah, so, I mean, everybody, if you ask anybody, no matter what their blood type, they'll tell you, oh yeah, I saw this when I was younger and that when I was younger. Everybody's having these experiences. They just don't pay attention because they're stuck in the freaking matrix. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, I had that UFO experience in 2006, and it's probably around around October maybe. but it was still, still pretty hot in that neck of the woods. And it was like 2:30 in the morning, not one cloud in the freaking sky. And I was out there by myself, and I was just like, what the fuck was that, Okay, so anyway, so here we go in 2013 on a Sunday at 8 p.m. If I don't know why I started looking in the back behind the fence. I guess I was back there playing with my cat, and I just happened to see the short little. This was way over to the right. When I looked over to the right, this was closer to all the back fences. This 3 foot tall, or maybe about 3.5 foot tall apparition. It was reddish, orangey, and it was flickering. It was like flickered, and I was just like, what the heck, man? I was like, are some kids trying to barbecue? I thought maybe somebody was trying to barbecue, and then I thought, do some kids have some like Halloween costumes on? Which was so stupid. Like, I'm so sure a costume is going to look like that, a Halloween costume. And when you barbecue, it's not freaking. It don't look like no little apparition, just like this little 3 foot tall apparition. But this one was orangey, was half orangey reddish, and it was flickered. And I just kept staring at it, and I'm just thinking, what the heck is that? And like I say, I just thought it was people trying to barbecue, or some kids had some kind of Halloween costume on, which makes no sense because it was in July. And okay, so anyway, then another apparition appeared, and this apparition was about 5'5" tall, and it was over by the tree right here, like about 30 feet to the left of the little short apparition, and it was completely red. Yeah, this 5 foot tall apparition by the tree was completely red, and it was just glowing. It just glowed. It did not flicker like the 3 foot tall apparition. It just glowed. And I was just kind of like, what the heck? I was like, what the heck? And, so then, I kid you not, it started walking like a humanoid, just a normal humanoid walk. This apparition started walking over to the right to the little short, orangey reddish, 3 foot tall apparition. It literally started walking just like this right here. This little human walk over to the right. And then I thought, I was just like, okay, that's very weird. So I have to go, investigate. I thought I'm going to have to go investigate, because it was totally freaking weird. Okay, so I can't get over the fence unless I try to climb over the fence, which I wasn't about to do. It's not exactly easy. So I have to go out the front door. I had to go out the front door, down the sidewalk, past about 3 houses, and then to the left, and then into the woods, the little woods right there, and then to the left, and straight ahead was the apparitions, where the apparitions appeared. But of course, by the time I got there, there was nothing. There was no smell. There were no humans. There was no fire. There was nothing. And I'm going to have to ask them to do more cool stuff like this, because they don't do this very often when I'm in 3D just doing my normal thing. And of course, so after I started walking back down the sidewalk, I was just thinking, was that like Indian spirits and stuff? Because, I could totally see Indians being back there many years ago, because I know they were on this land or whatever. And, but then it was just like a matter of no time. I knew it wasn't no freaking Indian spirits. I don't even believe in the theory of spirits anymore anyway. But, yeah, so I knew it was alien stuff. But yeah, there was totally no smell, no kids or anything back there, no barbecue. I mean, but of course, when you see something like that, you're gonna think, is that a freaking fire or something? But fire don't look like that. I mean, fire looks like this, you know, like yellow. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't fire. It was just a glowing apparition and a flickering apparition. I mean, it just flickered, flickered, flickered. But I mean, you think, I mean, if they're gonna do something like that, they're gonna freaking abduct my ass, and I'm gonna have like fucking 5 hours of lost time or something. But see, they don't screw with me like that, man. They're not freaking disrespectful like that. When they physically abduct me, they suck me up out of bed respectfully, and then they suck me back in bed. I mean, yeah, it's still freaking horrid. Sometimes they will wait till you fall asleep, but if they're service to self, they'll make you groggy on purpose with your implant, and then just right when you fall asleep, boom, they abduct you. But that first group in April, they were very respectful, and they waited till I fell asleep, and I already knew they were going to do something, so that's why I didn't fall asleep till 4:13 a.m. But yeah, I mean, you think the aliens are going to show you something like that they're going to freaking do something else. But mine, like I say, are not rogue like that. I deal with some rogue reptilians, but my greys, they're very respectful. So anyway, yeah, and I'm sure I know a lot of people out there have had experiences like this with reddish apparitions or red globes or orange globes and stuff, because I've read about it. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was fun, but it's just naturally when you see something like that, I mean, you literally think it's on the outside. It's really in the grass out there in the back of the fence. But like I say, I think it could have been a virtual reality experience. I think maybe they just could have tampered with my brain to see that. But like I say, what would prove it is if I had my friend standing there, or Angie in the backyard, or my mom in the backyard, and I could be like, come here, look, don't you see that flickering apparition and the glowing apparition? And but like I say, for whatever reason, one was orangey. One was more orangey red, and the other one was red. And one of them glowed, and one of them flickered. But the tall one glowed, and the short one flickered. It's flickered. But yeah, it was really awesome. But anyway, that's my story. But yeah, anyway, so if I would have asked them, do you see that? And they'd be like, no, what are you talking about? Then I would know that the aliens, that really wasn't on the outside. It was on the inside, internally, in my brain or whatever. So yeah, so that's why I'm saying it was like a virtual reality experience, because I don't necessarily believe that those really were in the grass. I believe they can somehow tamper with your implant or your brain or what. I do have implants, by the way, non-physical ones. And I was awake when they put them in. But like I say, who knows what implant they're using, and who knows if they even have to use an implant to give you these weird experiences. But yeah, so that was really weird. And they don't do... Well, there was another experience at Walmart I had where I believe, the alien being that was in physical form, it could have been fake. They could have made me think that was some weird creature walking around when, that could have been a virtual reality experience. I have had experiences with real physical aliens, and I know it wasn't virtual reality. They were there, in 3D. But that weird alien human ape creature I saw at Walmart a couple years ago, I'm thinking that also could have been a virtual reality experience. But because even if they are in 3D, lots of times nobody else sees them but yourself. But anyway, so that's my experience with the red glowing apparitions. And like I say, I know it was alien activity and not Indian spirit activity. Thanks for listening.